The court sided with a group of religious Maryland parents who want the option to keep their elementary-age children out of lessons involving books with LGBTQ content. President Trump celebrated this as a win for the court's conservative majority.
It's really a ruling for parents. They lost control of the schools. They lost control of their child. And this is a tremendous victory for parents.
We're going to talk to folks on both sides of this issue. Let's bring in Cecilia Wong, the National Legal Director for the American Civil Liberties Union. And Cecilia, the ruling does not remove these books from the shelves. It doesn't stop schools from teaching them. Why do you think this was a bad decision?
Well, thanks, Jake, for having me on. I think today's decision by the Supreme Court is unfortunately a drastic break from decades of precedent and has the potential to sow real chaos and disruption in public schools across America. For the first time under the Supreme Court's order today, parents with religious objections are empowered to pick and choose from a secular public school curriculum, which interferes with the school district's legitimate educational purposes and its ability to operate schools without disruption. And ironically, this ruling comes in a case where the curriculum is designed to foster civility and help young learners foster understanding across differences and agree and disagree with civility. So I think it's a very unfortunate decision that really is at odds with the history of the court's precedents on the First Amendment.
And let's read some of the decision written by Justice Alito. He talks about one of the books in question. It's called Uncle Bobby's Wedding. It's about a same-sex wedding. Alito writes, quote, "It presents acceptance of same-sex marriage as a perspective that should be celebrated. Other Americans wish to present a different moral message to their children, and their ability to present that message is undermined when the exact opposite message is positive, reinforced in the public school classroom," unquote. So Alito's argument is that parents should have the final word when it comes to teaching their children about morality, that they should have the final word when it comes to their education, especially if the government, the school, is teaching something that contradicts their religion. Why is that a problem for you?
Well, as Justice Sotomayor pointed out in her dissent, which includes the entirety of that book, Uncle Bobby's Wedding, points out, what really happened here is that the Montgomery County Schools District decided to have books that were inclusive on LGBT themes, as well as other themes about inclusion of people of different races and people of different religions. And the issue is that these were all age-appropriate materials that portrayed an inclusive attitude toward people from across differences. The book itself, whether parents object to it or not, they can teach their kids what they want and react to those books at home. But in the classroom, up until today's decision, the Supreme Court has always said that as to a secular public school curriculum, parents don't get to pick and choose in that secular curriculum. What happened in the case below is that Montgomery County at first let parents opt out of this curriculum. And what they saw was rampant absenteeism, where kids were not in class. Sometimes kids would skip the entire school day. And there was a real stigmatizing effect on kids whose parents might be gay or lesbian. The whole point of the school curriculum and of a secular public school is that people must listen and learn to agree or disagree with civility. And I think the Supreme Court's decision today is really going to disrupt the whole central idea of secular public education in this country. You don't have to agree with everything that you learn in school or that you're exposed to in school, but you do, until today, you did have to sit and listen and engage with others in the classroom. People are free to disagree with these materials. And unfortunately, I think the Supreme Court's decision today really upends the whole idea of secular public school curriculum and has the potential to sow chaos.
Cecilia Wong with the ACLU, thank you so much, appreciate it. Let's talk now with one of the parents who first brought this case in Montgomery County, Maryland, Mom Grace Morrison. Her attorney Michael O'Brien joins us as well. So Grace, thanks so much for joining us, really appreciate it. Montgomery County first removed the opt-out choice in 2023. You're a mom of public school kids in Montgomery County. Why did you bring this case?
I brought this case because my husband and I have an adopted daughter from Ukraine. She had been in the public school system for 7 years. She is a child with special needs. She has Down syndrome. And we became aware that in her special needs classroom, they were presenting books on sexuality and heavy topics of gender ideology. And we became very alarmed by this. Then to find out that we could no longer opt out of these materials, nor be even informed of what she was being taught. The books were being presented and discussed. So we had to make the very difficult decision to remove her from the school system, and that came at a great personal cost. And we have been, walking through this case. So today we are really rejoicing to have those, by the Supreme Court, to have those rights restored.
So how much of this was because of your child's special needs, and how much was it because of whatever religious objections you and your husband might have?
For our family, this material was directly opposed to our religious beliefs. We are Catholic, and the things that were being presented were in complete conflict with our Catholic faith, and we were raising our daughter in the Catholic faith. So it was especially difficult for a child with special needs to not be able to understand why the teacher was teaching one thing and then to come home and be told something else. It just added another level of difficulty.
So I'm going to put up some of the books now. Let's show them if we can. One is about a puppy lost at a pride parade. One is about a girl attending her uncle's wedding to his partner, his male partner. Another one is about a young person discovering that they are trans. These are storybooks. Now, obviously, your child has specific learning needs that you were concerned about. Let's broaden it out for a second, if we could. We just heard Cecilia Wong from the ACLU say these books are about teaching tolerance and acceptance. Why is that a bad thing? That's basically the argument we just heard from Cecilia Wong.
Well, the first thing is that it wasn't just a simple reading of storybooks. It was presented in her language arts class, so it involved discussion and instruction. And if you look at the court documents, the school itself was showing how this was a one-sided approach in the discussion. So it was opposed to our religious beliefs. And again, this case was not about removing these materials. It was about giving parents the right to decide, to know what was being presented, and then have the right to decide. So we were really just asking to have what has been in place in the state of Maryland to be restored, and that is what the Supreme Court granted today.
Grace Morrison, alongside her attorney, Michael O'Brien, thanks to you. Appreciate your time today.